If you're looking for the pulse of Tampa Bay sports, Beckles and Recher is the #1 source. The new guard, raising up the bar. Intelligent sports talk in your own backyard. Ain't no competition, ask the fans why. Beckles and Recher got it by a landslide. Don't fret, microphone check, stand by. Yo, Bucs, where they at? Who my two favorite guys?
Here they go.
Here they go.
Here they go.
Here they go.
Here they go. Here they go.
Here they go.
Here they go.
Here they go.
Here they go.
Here they go.
Here they go. Here they go.
Here they go.
Beckles and Recher.
All right, here we go. Welcome back to Beckles and Recher. We're hanging out here at the Dignitary Cafe, keeping it loose as we normally do on this fine Wednesday afternoon. How was your week been, kind sir?
Pretty good, my brother. How about you?
Good until I had the news that Joe Tryon-Schwenka got traded, and then I was shocked because, that's my favorite player of all time.
So I'm on my show yesterday, and I'm like, oh, when that news came down, I'm like, breaking news.
It shouldn't be news.
We got to call Ian.
It shouldn't be news.
It was news, though.
It shouldn't.
It was like,
It shouldn't.
it's a Cleveland Browns pass rush. I said, excuse me? Excuse me, sir?
Dickhead said what? What do you mean?
Did you see his numbers?
No, I was going to look. Go ahead. Do you have?
Greg Allman put him on Twitter, and I go, ooh. So I had all this information ready. I send Ian. He was busy. But I'm like waiting on my podcast. Like, I hope Ian didn't see this news, and then we were going to surprise him with it. But,
Let's hear stats.
I mean, God, we got to find this. All right, here we go. Joe Tryon-Schwenka, in 8 games with the Browns this year, 0 sacks, 0 tackles for loss, 1 QB hit, 9 tackles. He's played 6% of the defensive snaps for the Browns. But a great trade for the Bears.
So par.
That's even worse.
No, but
Taking even a step back.
that's right about where he was at, Jay. I'm telling
Bad,
Jay.
dude,
Jay,
bad.
listen to me. Bad.
So I was gonna send you this video last night. There was like a Chicago Bears podcast, and he's like talking about all the things.
His
and
athletic ability.
bro, they
you know
found all 4 highlights
Okay.
from his years in Tampa. It was so funny. I was like, oh, look at that! It was exactly the same play where the quarterback just runs right into him. It's the same thing.
Runs the hump,
Mhm.
and he still never run over somebody through. Somebody.
And then the other highlight that they showed was him running around somebody in training camp for Cleveland. I go, he played 8 games for Cleveland. You couldn't find one highlight, so you had to go to training camp?
So my thing is, I was an offensive guard
Oh.
on everything I love. If you put me out at the same position when I was at my peak, I would have highlights. Yeah, I would have run over a couple people.
Right.
He's played for years, and he can't play football. I saw it from day one. I know a lot of people questioned me. A lot of people thought I was being an asshole by saying he can't play, but I could watch. I could see when somebody has it, okay? Joe Tryon-Schwenka never had it. While I've been on the radio, I said Barrett Rue doesn't have it. Barrett Rue left here, went to Tennessee, and I don't think he played a good snap after that. I said Gaines Adams doesn't have it. Gaines Adams passed away after that, but he never played good in Chicago whatsoever, right? I said Gerald McCoy's not as good as he says he was. I don't think he played a good snap when he left here. Now Joe Tryon-Schwenka has 1 tackle in a half of a year, okay? So maybe I know a little bit about my trench play a little bit.
He's got 9 and 8. 9 tackles in 8 games.
But that's
Yikes.
not crazy, Jake. Like, for him to get a tackle, something has
Yes!
to happen because he never really manufactures a tackle. Like, something has to happen for him to fall into the tackle.
Even Devin White got some
God,
tackles. God.
There was a time Devin White wasn't bad, though. Bro.
No, I know.
Joe Tryon-Schwenka never.
At least there was something on the
He didn't
tape.
even have a flash.
Bro, they said
Did he flash?
Devin White, I think, leads the Raiders in tackles.
No, Devin White.
But they said don't watch the tape.
Okay, he's not a great football player, but he's a great athlete.
Yeah.
Joe Tryon-Schwenka,
We've
what
said
was
that
the
before.
thing that he did where you go, oh, there was a reason.
Fantastic. Look fantastic in training camp.
He looked in his uniform.
Ken, that's
though,
the worst
he
thing.
looked good.
The worst thing you could say about somebody is they're a great athlete.
He's like my boy Mike
Really
Lennon.
is.
First thing they say, he's tall.
A lot of neck.
He's tall.
A lot of
He
neck.
can't play lick.
He can look over every single offensive line. You know, it's funny today. So I have this doctor on every week, Dr. Rodriguez, sports medicine, a genius.
Okay.
This guy's so freaking smart. And we got into a discussion today about offensive line play because Luke Gedeke, now the window is open, 3 weeks, returning. He was out there practicing today, which is a big sign. Great sign for him to return.
Yep.
If the Buccaneers can get 4/5 of their offensive line back, huge bonus for the team.
Sure.
But the one thing that Doc and I were talking about, and I don't think enough people realize, just basic human just actions, is that an offensive lineman that big moving backwards versus other huge human beings running as fast as they can forwards.
Sure.
So we hear that a lot when it comes to cornerbacks. It's like, oh, the back pedal, oh, it's so tough. And I'm like, what about pass protection?
Yeah.
Like, I'm watching these guys in practice, and I'm sure you did this, obviously, and these guys moving, I've never seen other people do that in any other aspect of life.
Yes.
So I think when it comes to offensive line play, and people talk about, like, oh, Charlie Heck, you know, and the job that he did, I'm like, dude, you've been saying for years, people don't trade offensive linemen. Nope. They don't let offensive linemen go. Like, even if Charlie Heck did a okay job, because I think he has. I think he's done an okay job. He's looked terrible in some, but it's not like Baker's getting his head bashed in.
Correct.
Like, I think he's given an admirable effort.
Correct.
But think about the drop-off between Charlie Heck and the next guy if you think he's mediocre, right? Offensive line play and the just the physical actions that you guys have to do. I don't know why it was just an epiphany today. Like, it's definitely one of the hardest things to do in all sports.
Well, the thing is, Gadecki, who is a borderline all-pro player, okay, and Heck is we'll say he's an average backup, okay? But that's not saying a lot, okay?
Right.
Because a backup tackle is somebody who can't play tackle in the NFL. That, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Nobody's backup tackle can start other places, usually, okay? So I admire what Heck has actually done for him to play this many games. He hasn't looked great, obviously, all right? Because I coach offensive line, I've coached offensive line on the LFL. I've coached offensive line on the Tampa Bay Inferno, which is women's league. I've coached offensive line in Pop Warner. I'm coaching right now in high school. So I know a little bit about coaching at different levels. Out of all the sports and all the positions, offensive line is the most sports-specific position in all sports. And I say it because I say this, all right? Every other position in almost every other sport is natural. Like, I could take a long kid from high school that has long arms, he's mean in the hallway, and I say, put your hand down here, go get that quarterback. And he might figure out a way to do it. You don't even need technique. He's just longer, meaner. Like,
Faster,
I played against guys that were just longer than me, and meaner and faster, and I'm like, God dang it. Now I got to be perfect in what I do. Now, what the offensive lineman is doing is so unnatural that it's hard to explain. You have to get a guy who is, first of all, long enough, because I have long arms for a guy who's 6'1". If I had shorter arms, I wouldn't be able to do it, okay? You have to have a guy who's extremely strong. You have to have good footwork. Here's the part that people don't think about at all, okay? You could take somebody dumb as a stump and make him a defensive lineman. They can't play offense.
No.
You have to go right, left, angles, double team, come off to which linebacker? So if you're dumb, you can't play offense. You got to be passive on pass blocking. You got to be aggressive on run blocking. It's just it's not something anybody's ever worked towards before they got there. So, and here's the other problem. Most of the teams, who was the offensive lineman? They're usually defensive linemen that aren't athletic enough to play defensive line. So you're getting the lesser of all the athletes. So to have a great offensive line is hard at any level, because to find big natural guys like that who can move around, you don't see them walking around the hallways ever. That's the problem.
And I ask you this, like, what sport in any other sport or any other skill set translates best to offensive line play? Because you just mentioned that, and I'm thinking in my head.
Wrestling.
Rugby, wrestling, right?
Wrestling for sure. Give me a wrestler, and I can make him an offensive lineman.
Well, that's why you see guys like Tristan Wirfs, and they have that athletic background.
It's not a coincidence.
Right.
If you like here, I didn't wrestle growing up because we didn't have wrestling, but no, I guarantee nobody's beat me in wrestling growing up. They just weren't gonna, because I was built for that, you know? Tristan Wirfs, I've never wrestled, but if I had to pick somebody to wrestle, it wouldn't be him. I don't want to wrestle Tristan Wirfs for what? So how are you going to get him down? He's built perfect for an offensive lineman, perfect for a wrestler. And I play rugby myself, and in the scrum and running with the ball, it's very football specific, but still not offensive line specific. It's completely different.
Yeah, and I think of like other sports too, where like if you could run, you can jump, and you can play. You know, you'll see, and that's why you see like LeBron James and Kevin Durant. They play flag football, and they're pretty damn good. And you see a lot of these quarterbacks nowadays, and you're like, I mean, when I watch Patrick Mahomes play quarterback, you know what I see? A shortstop. Because he throws the ball like this. Like Matthew Stafford grew up playing baseball. Aaron Rodgers grew up playing. Like those guys throw the ball from different arm angles when you're throwing the ball on the run. Like I think, and that's why I try to tell a lot of my parents when I'm coaching is like, make sure your kids are playing different sports because you develop different muscle groups, and you just like it's so much better for you to not be so sport specific at such an early age.
Well, when I see Patrick Mahomes play, I can see a shortstop. I can see a point guard.
Right.
I can see a lot of things. I can see somebody who wasn't, because first of all, Patrick Mahomes is 10 times more athletic than he looks.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So is Doug Flutie. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like those guys. But here's the thing I know about Patrick Mahomes and Doug Flutie. I don't know them personally. I've met Doug Flutie. I promise you they were good at whatever the hell sports they played.
Right.
Okay? They figured it out. And listen, I was a big guy, but I was able to figure out sports in my life. Wasn't able to figure out scholastics, but sports is something that if I put my mind to it, I always could figure it out. And I grew up playing quarterback and running back and wide receiver and defensive back and basketball and baseball and basketball and rugby and track and whatever had to be done, whatever sport it was, if you invented a sport, there's no way I'm not better than everybody else just because I'll have an asset that's going to make me better than everybody else. Patrick Mahomes has something that's immeasurable. You can't measure that. That's why he didn't get picked that high. He don't look like he should be that. But that's the thing that scouts can't find. What is Patrick Mahomes? What is that thing that we couldn't find? What was that? It's that it. And afterwards you'll say, well, there it is. But a lot of people have it, and they still get there and they poop on themselves. So I think picking a quarterback is still by far the most inexact science on the planet. There's nothing harder to do than pick an NFL quarterback who knows how to play.
Yeah, I mean, I look at a guy like Mookie Betts, who the Red Sox picked in the 5th round of the 2011 Major League Baseball draft with pick 172.
Wow.
And Mookie Betts just went from being a Gold Glove right fielder to playing shortstop for the Dodgers, making the game-winning play in Game 7 of the World Series. But let's not forget, Mookie Betts can also bowl 300, dunk a basketball. And did you see his football skills?
Oh, I'm not going to doubt anything.
Unbelievable. In and out of breaks, and I'm like, dude, this guy.
You ever see Allen Iverson's football?
That's crazy, man.
Remember
who's good? Nate Robinson?
Sure.
Hell of a football player at Washington. So,
like, there's no reason.
They're athletes, man.
If LeBron James put his mind to football, it would have been a problem.
Yeah, it would have been a great tight end. Because then he would have worked out. He would have changed. The workouts would have been different.
I'm going to go further. He might have changed it off the receiver position. If he like, I don't know if he can stay healthy because I don't know if he's tough enough. I don't know. I think he's tough, but if he was a tight end that came out at 290, but can I say this about tight end? I'd rather see LeBron James at wide receiver because when you put him in a tight end, boy, when you got to block, have you watched that Pittsburgh Steelers tight end yet? The number 80 for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, the big dude.
Oh, I watched him last game. Jay, if you throw the ball near him, the ball sticks to his hand, and nobody could guard this guy. Then me and Tony are sitting here watching him. He's pass blocking defensive ends and jamming them on the line. I think it's Washington,
Yeah.
That's my favorite tight end by far now is the Pittsburgh Steelers tight end. He looks like, I think they say 6'7", 290 or something.
Darnell Washington.
He's huge.
Yeah, 6'7", 264 from Georgia.
He's
that was
not
a third-round pick.
No way.
Bigger than that now.
He's huge. Hey, he's been in the league now. He eating good steaks. He's 280. Easy. I ain't mad at him.
3rd-round pick in 2023.
Dude, he's huge.
They don't throw him the ball all that much. Well, they have Freiermuth. They have some other good tight ends, too. So
when they throw him the ball, dog, he catches
dude.
it. They say when you throw him the ball, either catches it or he gets a penalty every time.
I love it. Shout out to Chan and Evolve for the $5 super chats. We appreciate you guys. Greg DeCruz wants to know, how difficult is it to bring in a guy halfway through an NFL season?
Depends what position it is.
Yeah.
If it's it was a quarterback, it's very tough unless it's a Joe Flacco, older, like a Tom Brady or something like that, which doesn't happen that much. If it's an offensive lineman, it's going to take a little bit before he gets familiar. Like stuff like running back, and I'm not trying to downplay running backs, but running backs, there's not that much to learn. The running play tells you where to go with the number, okay? And the other ones, you have to learn probably 2-3 pass protections, and that's it. So defensive backs. That's all. I think defensively it's gonna be a lot better. If you get me a great defensive lineman, you can put T.J. Watt anywhere. Okay, you can put a great player. You can put Vita Vea anywhere. Offense is a lot to learn. So I would say go on, put them on the defense. Offense is gonna be much harder.
NFL trade deadline yesterday at 4 p.m. and people were wondering if the Buccaneers were going to make a move. They did not make a move, and I think when people get upset at fans when their team doesn't make a move, I think you lose a concept of reality that sports is supposed to be fun. It's entertaining. You want to win the trade deadline. You want to win the actual games. You want to win the draft. You want to win the offseason. Like, you want to win everything, right? Like, that's what you want. Like, it's not the end-all, be-all, but you want to get in on the mix. You don't want to be sitting on the outside. You watch, a couple of big names get traded yesterday. You want to be in on the fun. The Buccaneers did not make a move there. Surprising to you at all?
No, because
I don't think so either.
I think the names that they were bantering around, we're talking about Hendrickson. When you talk about giving up a couple of first-rounders, I think it's easy for somebody on the couch to give up 2 first-rounders.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about Todd Bowles and Jason Light, like, if they don't go to Super Bowl this year, that's a bad choice, okay? So,
yeah.
And in a year from now, you're like, oh, damn, we gave away those first-rounders, and now we're talking about having to stay somewhere and get better. So it's not quite that easy for me. The NFL's not like other leagues where I think a lot of teams got, like Sauce Gardner, I just think he wanted to go. I don't think
terrible.
That's what I'm saying. He was just miserable where he was at.
Yeah, and he's not as good as he was.
No, he is not. Now I'm gonna say this about Sauce Gardner, okay? And every other defensive back in the league. Well, give him a pass rush. I'll take Sauce Gardner.
Yeah, no doubt.
Give him a pass rush because the Jets don't have much of any. That's awful to watch.
Which is crazy.
Awful.
So no issues with the Bucs not making a trade there.
No. I mean, what would they get?
I know.
Once again, whatever they need an offensive lineman, not go find them, and a pass rusher, not gonna find them. Nelson will live with Nelson.
Especially for the cost, right? I mean,
exactly.
You could say, all right, yeah, like Kendricks is out there, but Jason Light values his draft picks, and I wouldn't say a victim of his success. I think it's just a result of his success. I mean, what people say, just give him a 7th rounder. You got Tez Johnson starting.
Correct.
Tez Johnson's going to play a big role in the game this weekend against the 7-2 Patriots.
Correct.
As a 7th round pick. So if you're Jason Light, your proof of concept is the guys that we draft. And also, I think, and I said this today on the show, and I wanted to get your opinion. When you're drafting guys, for the most part, and I know there's certain times where you don't necessarily talk to the player, but man, you do a lot of homework on the guys you draft, Beck.
Sure.
And it's the off season, and you have all these resources. You get to sit down with the player. You get to go through tape, and you're not focused on anything else. When you're trading for a guy in season, like, man, you're relying a lot on somebody else's opinion of him and the tape that you see. You're not having a one-on-one conversation with the guy. So if you bring in a Jordan Brooks for a linebacker, Miami Dolphins, you sit Servace Dennis.
Yeah.
He's tackling his ass off. He's not great in coverage as people thought he was going to be, but are you going to sit Servace? He's tackling his butt off, and you're not sitting Levante David. And a lot of times you're playing a 4-2-5 defense anyway, so you're playing 2 linebackers. So, I think it's a lot easier to say, oh, you should have done this, and forgetting about how difficult it is to assimilate those players into your team.
Well, it's funny. This morning, I had an unbelievable conversation with Martin Mayhew, former teammate of mine who was a GM for the Lions, and he was also the GM for the Washington Commanders. And I believe I can say Redskins because he was there when the name...
Redskins, yeah, you can.
No, but he was there when the name changed.
Okay.
So, which has got to be... That's got to be... should probably be able to write a book on that alone.
Right.
Because I asked him about that, and he was like, well, a lot of people were for it, a lot of people were against it. I'm talking about Indian people. He goes, yeah, there was both sides. But we were talking about evaluation of talent. And, we've always talked about offensive coordinators. If Vinny Testaverde went somewhere else, maybe he'd be a Hall of Famer. And maybe if Joe Montana was drafted for the Buccaneers, maybe he wouldn't be a Hall of Famer. I don't think we ever know those type of things. We really don't. But when you talk about evaluating talent, everybody thinks that they can do something with talent, okay? Because
you have to, though, don't you?
Yes, you do. But here's the thing. Somebody like Joe Tryon is probably a great example, right? If he goes to a defensive line coach that's not great, how much better could Rod Marinelli make him, okay? Because I think Rod Marinelli is the best to ever do it. I don't know the answer to that. I do know that Rod Marinelli is going to make him better, okay? So if Rod Marinelli rated him high, and then the Buccaneers, he pooped with himself in the Buccaneers, he's going, well, maybe maybe if you give him to me, I could turn him into a good football player.
Right.
Here's the part, though. When you something like JTS, when you have 4 years of film, and I could watch 4 years, and Jay, I'm pretty consistent with this, okay? I want everybody to listen to this about a defensive lineman, because as far as evaluating defensive lineman talent, I would ask an offensive lineman before I asked a defensive lineman, okay? Because we had to watch them and grade them. Give me somebody who runs through somebody before somebody that runs around somebody, okay? Because once you get to the NFL, and you got Walter Jones and Jonathan Ogden and
Orlando
Pace and Tristan
Wirfs.
Wirfs. Okay, so here's Tristan Wirfs. In college, you know what you did? You put your head on the ground, the crowd noise was crazy, and you jumped just about the same time as the tackle, and you beat him around the edge. Good for you, I got 12 sacks. In the NFL, it's and you look up, and here's Tristan Wirfs. And with perfect footwork and perfect hands. If you don't have no heat, JTS had no heat. He didn't bring no. Does TJ Watt have heat? You ever watch the Bosa's rush? When did JTS look like that?
Never.
The Bosa's looked like that from Jump Street. TJ Watt, JJ Watt. You ever watch freaking Myles Garrett? He's coming out of his stance, and I see sparks coming off his feet. I don't know how somebody could block that guy. And I have to watch JTS for 4 years turn his body and look like he's wincing when he's rushing. That's not a football player. Lawrence Taylor, you watch his film, my God, like the effort level compared to JTS, and they're playing the same position. I would say to somebody, what about this guy? Well, we can't compare those two. I go, they're playing the same position, just differently. So evaluating talent is hard. Everybody thinks they know. Everybody thinks they can make him a little bit better. But 4 years of film, you rarely see somebody have 4 years of below average film, then all of a sudden flip and become a good football player. Because greatness shows itself early, dog. Greatness doesn't need coaching, right? Especially a defensive guy.
Right.
If you're great, like, remember I told you boy Jones for Kansas City, Chris Jones back in the day, and I was like, he's not a great football player. What he learns is going to be he's going to be a problem. That was 5 years ago.
Right.
Okay, and then he's getting a little lazy for me now lately. No, I'm not just talking about that play.
No,
I'm watching him in
yeah.
general. He's getting lazy, okay? He's reading this press clippings.
Fat cat.
Okay, what happens, you make a lot of money sometimes.
Yeah.
You don't have the same dog in you. I'd probably say that to his face. Far from his face, because I want him to put his hands on me. But he's not the same player. But it's that dog, man. Dog is not... Like, dogs are dogs all the time, man. All the time.
Now, you just mentioned Sauce Gardner.
Yeah.
2 big trades for the Jets this day. Trading Gardner to the Colts and trading Quinnen Williams to the Dallas Cowboys. And, you know, what a good question in the chat here from Greg, actually from Chan. Does the amount of activity from the Jets mean Aaron Glenn is safe or not? I think they acknowledge how bad that team is, but what does Ian think?
Well, Aaron Glenn's my boy. Okay, we got real cool when I was with the Jets briefly. He was a boxing fan, I was, and we actually hit it off. So I know Aaron a little bit. So, you know, I hope he succeeds. I would think this. In 2025, I think one of the biggest problems in sports is that we don't allow a coach to get acclimated, okay? That's a big problem. When you let a coach come in for 1 year and he's trying to clean things up and do things his way and you got everybody else's players, it's probably not going to look great, okay? Especially when you have a history like the Jets. Like, they don't have anything to fall back on, right? Do I say he's doing a good job this year? No, because he's learning himself. Like, you know, Raheem the first time, Todd Bowles at the beginning, most coaches at the beginning make a lot of mistakes, okay? And Aaron Glenn's made a lot of mistakes already. But you got to learn to not make those mistakes over and over, and to kick him to the curb after this year. You gave the guy a shitty team. He had many quarterbacks as he had. Now you're trading away his players. So you're going to say at the end, you got to go? It doesn't make sense to me. To me, if you're going to make these changes, they got to be being made in-house, because they got to say, Aaron, listen, you got the next year to win. Regardless, show us how you're going to win. And he's got, like, Quinnen Williams might be a great asset, but sometimes that's not the best guy to have in your locker room. I don't know the answer to that. And sometimes people just think that you're just trading away talent. Sometimes guys are locker room lawyers.
Right.
And locker room lawyers don't do well with coaches. Okay, because sometimes the coach will be on one side and locker room lawyers on the other side, and the locker room lawyer has a lot more, power than the coach has. Okay, so we don't know that whole situation. He's still a good football player, but in order for the Jets to start looking like they're getting better, like Quinnen Williams probably is not going to be a great player 3 years from now. Okay, but if you can get a couple first-round picks and next year get a little better and have some young players at the right position, it's like winning with Joe Flacco is not the same as winning with Bo Nix. It's not the same. Winning with Joe Flacco is just winning today. Bo Nix, you're getting better. So it's the way the team is, developing, and you got to give the guy a little bit of chance to at least make the team play like he wants them to play. Don't pull the plug in 1 year. I think that's crazy.
But is there something to be said about how you made the argument for greatness shows itself early as a player?
Yes.
Can you say that same thing about a coach?
I can because this funny thing I was talking about.
Because Gerard, and the reason why I say that is because Gerard Mayo got fired after 1 year with New England.
Yeah.
It didn't get any better at the organization because I think there's certain things that your leadership ability, your ability to communicate, your organizational skills, right? There's certain things I think in sports, and I say this from being a coach myself, is like, certain times you could have everything in line and you could still lose. But at least nobody can come up to you and go, they weren't prepared, you weren't organized, you didn't communicate, right? Because sometimes, and you know this as well as anybody, is like, you need talent to win.
Yep.
Regardless of what coach it is, regardless of how good you think the team is going to be. If you're not as talented as the other team, you really have no shot. The talent level has to be close, or else you have no chance to win. So, at the same rationale of, all right, well, you should know pretty early if a guy's a good player or not. I think there's got to be some kind of correlation to that on the coaching ranks, because nobody really stepped out and said Gerard Mayo shouldn't have been fired. And now you look with a very similar roster. Mike Vrabel is 7-2, but organized, second-time coaching, right? I understand that there's a lot of mitigating factors when it comes to Aaron Glenn and the lack of success, but I think what worries people is that he is making some of the same mistakes. His communication skills has not been great. He's not handled the media great. And I think people will kind of give you an opportunity to learn on the job or have you take some of those punches early on. But you got to show leadership, you got to be organized, and you got to be able to communicate. And that's why I don't know if Aaron Glenn, if he's going to survive after this.
I don't think you can compare evaluation of a player and a coach. I don't think it's possible, because a player is on the field by himself. A coach needs so much. A coach needs a good quarterback coach. A coach needs a good offensive coordinator. He needs a good GM. He needs a good defensive coordinator. He needs a lot of things that are great, okay? And if he doesn't have some of those, it's hard to succeed. A player, if you're great, you're just on the field and you're going to show I'm great. Now, I think there's coaches, and I would almost compare.
But what about a quarterback then?
You just beat me to that.
Yeah.
I was about to say I'll compare a coach to a quarterback.
Okay.
Because a quarterback needs so many other things around him. But okay, let me give you a good example, okay? Greg Schiano. Was he a good NFL coach?
No.
Would Bill Belichick win in a situation that he has a crackhead quarterback? Seriously. A crackhead quarterback, and now you're finding out all the other young bucks around him, some are not here anymore, were also running the streets, acting crazy.
Yeah.
So how many those situations, like Greg Schiano was here, and it wasn't up to him who his quarterback was. He inherited his quarterback. And you know your quarterback's running the streets. I'm hearing stories about his quarterback, and he's the head coach. You don't think he knows? So you know your quarterback's running the streets, and you're losing. And you want to say, for God's sakes, it ain't me. It's
Can't
look
do
at
that.
you.
Yeah.
I know you can't do that. He can't even do it on the way out. So it's a situational thing, man, because I've told you before, Alex Gibbs and Rod Marinelli are the best coaches I've ever been around as far as to get something out of a player. Rod Marinelli went 0-16. Now, you didn't hear anybody speak against him.
But that's a great point, though.
Sure.
Beck. But why? Why?
Because of respect.
But it's more. But it's got to be more than that.
I think
because
Mayo. I think if he had the respect in the locker room, I think the players would have went and spoke on his behalf. But I don't know if he had that.
But that's kind of my point when we're having this discussion about coaching.
Yeah.
Marinelli went 0-16. That's respect. That's part of it, no doubt about it. But people still think he's a really good coach.
He is great. He's a very good coach.
Why? Because it's more than just the leadership, the detail, organization. That team just wasn't good.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my point when I'm comparing the guy like Rod Marinelli when 0-16, the guy like Aaron Glenn, is even in the middle and at the end of one of the worst seasons in professional sports. You could not say that Rod Marinelli did not have his team prepared or he didn't communicate with them. You're saying that right now about Aaron Glenn. That's what worries me, is that we talk about spectrums. Like, that's all the way, that's the worst it could possibly, there's nothing worse than losing every game, regardless of what anybody says.
Sure.
There's nothing worse than losing every game. The Jets already won a game. But there's also these things that you're picking at and you're like, what more do I need to see? If I'm not seeing this, is that all going to get better in 1 year? It didn't work in with Brandon Staley and the Chargers. Very unprepared. Remember all the time management issues that he had.
Sure.
What do you need another year to see that for? Gerard Mayo, the same thing in New England. You don't need to see that for another year. And I just feel like, and I'm with you, I think guys' leashes are way too short. But I also think there is something to be said about, if you can recognize it early and that's not your guy. I don't like the idea of like, let's just give him another year just to give him another year, because you got to start that clock over again.
Well, Jay, like in any situation, in any occupation, people that know what it looks like could smell it.
And know what it doesn't look like.
Exactly, okay? Like, I had Bill Parcells say, listen, the fact that I was even in that locker room with the Jets, and I never played it down for the Jets, the fact I was in that locker room is an honor now.
I was going to say that. Is that one of your, like, 100%. Biggest blessings in 100%. Life?
Yeah. When Bill,
just being there.
Well, just being there with,
I speak about it with such reverence with Steve Atwater and all these different guys.
I was sitting here at the end of my career, and I'm looking around in the locker room with all these names, like Jumbo Elliott and Keyshawn Johnson and Vinny Testaverde, who I knew, and Steve Atwater. I mean, you could keep on going. There was a bunch of names. Like, everybody was like, it was like the land of misfit toys. A bunch of old dudes that have all played good ball. Everybody knew they could play. Brian Cox. Brian Cox walks by me, looks at me, goes, "You're that dirty son bitch from Tampa, ain't you?" And I'm like, "I guess so." So he shakes my hand. So, like, that's the way it was. And the one thing that Bill Parcells, who I don't think I've ever been around anybody that was more football than Bill Parcells in my life, because I've been around Tony Dungy, but Tony Dungy didn't really know offensive line play. He didn't really know the playbook offensively. He just knew defense, and he was a good people. He was good for people. Bill Parcells knew every offensive play, every special teams play. He knew every player, and he made it known that he evaluated and that he thinks you're a good football player. And he's like, he said to me, I sat in his office. He had a big ass chair, and I had a little chair. And he make you look small on purpose. And he said to me, "I've been watching you play through your whole career. I like the way you play, and I know a good football player when I see one." I was like, "Okay, that's a compliment." And he goes, "Well, you've never blocked for a running back like we have here in Curtis Martin." I'm like, "I blocked for some pretty good guys." He goes, "Not like Curtis." And I was just like, "Okay, you're not winning an argument with Bill Parcells." You know what I mean? But that was an honor, because I think everybody was honored to be in there. It was a son of a bitch to be dealing with this dude, but it was weird. Like, I've never done military, okay?
But
But I think just somebody yelling at you is something, but everybody, he was leading too, though.
Right.
Like, there's a difference. Like, I see people that just yell. He scared you into working hard and doing the right thing. That's a scary man. I ain't gonna lie to nobody. But he was fair.
Yeah.
I swear to you, he had a meter. Like, there was one part of the camp where I was so down, I just didn't want to be there. I was down, And he looked at me and goes, "You could play, Beckles. I know you could play." I goes, "You're a good football." I like, at that moment, he knew to say that. You know what I mean? And another time I was kind of swollen out of good, and he was like, "Beckles, you can play, but you're too fat. You're too out of shape." And I felt like saying, "Look at your pear-shaped ass." But he was a good leader of men, and I think that's part of it. And I think, like Mayo, I don't know Mayo, but a lot of times when people get fired, the front office people had problems with him, the players had problems with him, the equipment people had problems with him, and it's usually an in-house thing. And when you see people get fired all of a sudden, a lot of times it's like, these people have had enough.
Yeah.
And if you're loved and you lose, it may still be there, but if
Some
you're
people look the other way.
if you're hated and you lose,
Yeah.
you got to go.
Oh yeah,
You
don't
got
look for any way to get you out.
immediately. Absolutely.
So we just saw that your guy, Kyler Murray, just got placed on IR dealing with a foot injury, but it sounded like Jonathan Gannon was going to go with Jacoby Brissett regardless.
I don't know if he's even hurt. Like seriously,
That's what I'm saying. Like, this seems weird.
It's a great timing for him to say, okay, I'm
Sure
on
is.
IR now for the rest of the season, and it wasn't my play. I'm just going to sit it down, and next year they're going to try to trade him for something. Because I wouldn't trade for Kyler Murray for a box of Gatorade and some freaking whatchamacallit chocolate bars, and I love those.
You like whatchamacallit?
I love whatchamacallit.
Is that your favorite Halloween
Right
candy?
now, yes.
Wow.
I don't know Halloween candy. I don't know.
You don't know?
No, I don't do Halloween.
You don't do Halloween?
I eat candy all year, you know.
That's Bert's thing. That's big old Bert's
Bert
thing.
has a thing?
Yeah, he does. I saw him walk
How did
around
Bert
with
get a
ghost.
thing?
His ghost.
How the fuck did he get a
I'm
thing?
a ghost. It's his thing. But yeah, Kyler, I don't see how that's gonna. And it's so crazy because they had Josh Rosen, they drafted him in the first round, bring in Cliff Kingsbury. He's like, no, I got first overall pick. I'm gonna take Kyler Murray. And now, like, where are you if you're Arizona? Like, you always bring them up. Like, imagine if you're the Cardinals. They're in the worst. Like, them winning against Dallas was not good. That was not good for them.
No.
Because you're getting a worse draft pick now. You're farther away from thinking that Kyler's the problem or Jonathan Gann is the problem. Like, those teams like that are screwed. Give me a situation where your team is really bad, like Tennessee, where it's like, hey, we got our quarterback now. We just got to build, and it may take a couple of years. At least you know where you're at. Or a team that's constantly contending. But if you're one of those in the middle-ish, drafting in the teens, like, that's no man's land.
Well, you've heard me, you probably more than anybody have heard me speak on Kyler Murray throughout the years. And I'm like, this is my thing with Kyler Murray, okay? If you look at him in college, and I say to you, and you can answer this question, Jay. When he comes to the NFL, who's it going to play like? Who are you going to say?
I don't even know, man.
That's the problem.
He has to be like
That's a problem. We'll start from there.
Yeah, he has to be like he runs way too much, and he has to play like a Russell
He's
Wilson.
not
or
Michael
Drew
Vick.
Brees.
He's not Michael. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But he's not Drew Brees.
No.
Okay, he's not close to being Drew
not
Brees.
Russell Wilson.
He's not close to being Russell. He's not close to those guys.
No.
Okay, so now we have a guy who's such an anomaly that he has to create his own category. Now.
Heck of an athlete, though.
Oh, sure, unbelievable.
Get drafted in the first round. That
Now,
MLB draft.
You guys have all heard the story of Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf. I know that because I was around at the time, and I actually saw Ryan Leaf in Vegas right after he was drafted in a zoot suit and a big gold chain with a big gold leaf on it. All right? I looked at him and I go, he's not going to make it because he's too full of himself already. Here's the story. Ryan Leaf went to Las Vegas, and Peyton Manning was asked to get the playbook faxed. And supposedly when he got to Indianapolis, he knew the playbook by the time he got there. Now, you're going to re-sign a quarterback that has to have a clause in his contract that he can only play PlayStation for a certain amount of hours? Shame on you.
Right.
Because I tell you who's not playing PlayStation in the middle of the season. It's Peyton Manning. Okay?
It's
or
not
anybody else winning.
It's not even. I think they took it out, but it's not.
The fact he had to be
That's
there
what I'm
is
saying.
crazy.
Ian, the fact that you have to bring
Oh
it
my
up
God.
contract, the fact that it's even a topic of
There's an issue
conversation is a huge
Thank
issue.
you.
I don't want anything to do with that guy.
Are you kidding me? You know how often I played video games during the season?
None.
Zero. Off season, I'll play video games. During the season, zero. If you're playing video games, I tell you what you could really be doing is watching film, so that you can make more money and be better on the field. You're playing video games for hours during the season? Holy shit! You're gonna give that guy another contract? This is Kyler Murray. This is how every one of his seasons went. First 3 games, oh my God, Kyler Murray looks good. He's bouncing. Game 3 through 8, he starts to come down. At 8, he starts to get eliminated, gone. By week 12, he's not even a name anymore. Maybe we should sit him down for the rest of the season. He can't play 17 games. Not like he plays. What a wasted pick.
Speaking of topics and hot topics of conversation, there's big issues when it comes to gambling and throwing games and private poker games in the NBA, and you got huge names attached to this with Chauncey Billups, and Terry Rozier, and Damon Jones is involved as well. And then you hear it in the UFC that some guy last week threw a fight, and he was the favorite, and all of a sudden, right before the fight, there was a lot of money coming in.
Yeah.
Do you attribute these type of things to the rise in gambling, to the rise in sponsorship, DraftKings, FanDuel, and stuff like that, or is this just one of those things where it's part of kind of Americana, and we can go back to the Black Sox scandal and Pete Rose and things like that, where it's just kind of part of our culture in a weird way? Do you think it's exacerbated because it's more prevalent, or do you think that kind of stuff is happening anyway?
Well, pretty much gambling's been happening forever, okay?
Right.
Forever. I watched a video of a guy in 1970 talking about how illegal gambling happens. He could have done it today. It's the same thing. And now he was like, listen, everybody knows athletes like to gamble. Every athlete I like to gamble. Most athletes that I know like to gamble, okay? They find out who the gamblers are. They find out who has the issues. They find out who's losing money. Now, if you're a quarterback and, or a defensive back or a boxer and you're down 50 grand and you're fighting for 10 grand, that's a pretty easy equation for me.
Right.
If I can hit the canvas and make 50 grand or win and make 10 grand, that's a pretty easy equation, especially if, Joe Bag of Donuts is coming after to break my legs, right? And now you could tell Joe Bag of Donuts and his people what's going to go on, and now you're in good standing with them. So it's something that we're hearing about more because of social media and all the knowledge that we have now. But I think there's more gambling now, but I don't think that corrupt side of it's gone up. I think that's stayed the same because there's gonna continually be corrupt gamblers, okay? Gamblers, if you're a gambler in a gambling house at 4 a.m, like those people are doing cocaine and they're drinking alcohol and you're spending crazy money and you're with shysters. I've been there, okay? So that's not the time to be making deals, and a lot of athletes find themselves there, and it's gonna end up being in trouble. But I don't know if it's any more than there ever was before. But the exposure to it now, like, it's hard to get away with anything these days. And I've been watching videos of elaborate ways people are cheating in poker. I don't know if haven't been cheated before, because some of those things were brilliant. And I never would have thought of things like that.
Right.
See, I caught somebody cheating poker in my house one time, back in the day.
I actually heard about that story from somebody else a couple weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah.
From somebody else?
Yes. The mutual friend.
The guy had your first name?
No.
He absolutely did. No,
no.
Okay. The guy who did it.
Oh, I was going to say the person that brought it up to me. No.
It was pretty funny when I caught him.
Oh.
Because Alan from Monster Lobster, who was on the first UFC fighter.
Yeah, he wanted to do some damage.
Well, Alan told me, he said, those guys are acting funny to me. And I go, what do you mean? They're not going to come in my house and cheat. He goes, keep an eye on those two guys. And they're two squirrely little dudes, right? So the next time I'm watching him play poker and I'm watching him deal, and he's shuffling, but he's not shuffling the top of the cards. And he didn't ask his boy to cut, right? So then his boy gets 2 10s, and I'm watching again. So I see him grab a 5, and he puts it on the deck, and I'm thinking, if him or his boy get 2 5s, we're going to have a problem.
Oh.
And his boy got 2 5s. And I was like, then I watched him do it one more time. And then I said, I don't feel well. I don't feel like playing anymore. And I said, Alan, you stay here. So everybody else left. I told Alan, I caught him. Alan goes, let's go. I said, no, we can't mop him now, because now I'm going to get arrested and I'm going to go to jail. So the next day I walked into the office. He was working at the station. He was a producer of my radio show.
What?
Yes, he was a producer of my radio show. And I walked to the office and I locked the door, and he looked at me and he goes, hey. I go, what's up, dude? He goes, what's going on? And I go, so I caught you cheating last night. He goes, I go, if you deny it, I'm going to smear you all over these fucking walls. And he just put his hand over his face, and I go, how dare you come in my house and cheat and drink my Hennessy and eat my wife's cookies and cheat? And I said, here's the number. And I gave him a number, and I think it was $7,000. And I go, have this to me and Alan real quick, or me and Alan will come holler at you. The next day, his mother wrote a check for the money. $7,000.
Wow.
Next day. He didn't want Alan to come to see him, though, because Alan was going to dismember him.
Jeez.
I'm nice. Alan was not. I wouldn't want to fight Alan.
No, of course not.
I'm good.
UFC fighter.
He's not big either. You better watch he get that look in his eye, though, on the back of his eye. You got to be able to see that look. Like, you want to fight. He want to fight a big mouth, like to break his leg. So he got something on his mantle.
Yeah, of course.
Not me. I'm not the one.
Woo!
Yeah, man.
Unbelievable.
Should write a book.
Story. Yeah, no, one day you should. Finally, a World Series ended last week, and we see the numbers, like twice as many people watching the World Series than the NBA Finals. Is that surprising?
No.
Why not?
There was a reason. It had something to it. It had something to it. Like,
Thunder, Pacers, also the markets, too.
No, absolutely.
Thunder, Pacers, Blue Jays, Dodgers.
No, it's not just Blue Jays, Dodgers. It's Asia, Canada.
Yeah, Asia, Canada.
Okay,
right.
Seriously, though. Yeah. Like, Canadians are going to watch. Like,
yeah, it's the Canada's team.
Because I'm not a Toronto Blue Jays fan. I'm not. But it made me kind of watch and care a little bit. Okay, I really did. Ohtani, either you're a baseball fan, you got to kind of watch that. Because, there's nobody in baseball that's close to that. Whatever you want to call it. No. Because I watched baseball forever, and what? Like, come on now. That's a lot that's going on there, dude. Like, right now, he's as good as I've seen any baseball player in my whole life, in my lifetime. Yeah. Right now. Who's better? I don't see how you could be.
Yeah, it's amazing what he's able to do. And, I mean, I give a shout-out to Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who ended up winning the World Series MVP. This guy threw a complete game in Game 2. Game 3 went to 18 innings. He wanted to pitch the 19th. Then in Game 6, he throws 90-something pitches, and then he pitches 3 innings the very next day in Game 7 to win.
That's why you can't let the Asian people figure out about our sports. Hey, Asian people be like, I'm going to figure this one out, and when we figure it out, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, and then you look at the World Baseball Classic. It's coming up again in March, which last time it was thrilling, and I know a lot of people... they were like, yeah, whatever, we're World Baseball Classic. And then you remember how good Randy Arozarena was that year. And then he was really good for the Rays, and then they traded him. But you remember it ended with Japan winning the gold medal because Ohtani struck out Mike Trout.
Right.
So it's like, God dang, man. So we'll see if there's going to be payback. I mean, but the only thing that beats that is Ohtani against Judge in the bottom of the 9th inning, right? Like, I mean, those are the 2 best players on the planet. It's not even close.
I like the way you just insert the Yankees.
How to do it.
I don't want
Aaron Judge.
I don't want it.
Aaron Judge.
And I'll be honest with you, I'm not big on, like, dynasties and all kind of stuff like that.
Why not?
But
Why not?
I don't care if somebody has a dynasty, you deserve it. I kind of want to see the Dodgers lose, though.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
I don't like the
dynasty.
No, it's not the dynasty thing. It's a money thing. I'd rather see the little men win sometimes. You know what I mean?
You know how with their payroll?
Seriously.
I think they were 6th.
Who was? No, but it's still not the guy who's spending all the goddamn money.
It's not like
but there's a big difference between every time somebody's out there, the Dodgers come and get them.
If there wasn't the Rays,
the Dodgers get everybody though.
Yeah, of course. I'm not disputing that.
Like the Dodgers, are like, this is what happened. This is how it goes in the off season.
The Toronto is 4th.
Okay, but what's the discrepancy though? What was the discrepancy? So 100 million,
240 to 193.
Okay, so it's a big difference.
50, about
okay,
50 million.
What? This is the Dodgers off season. You see the Dodgers sign Glass now? Where's it gonna go? Where's it gonna? They got so many guys.
Bro, they had the best. They had like arguably the best free agent, Roki Sasaki, and he was terrible.
I mean,
and he didn't even pitch in the last thing.
It doesn't matter. See, the Rays can't make
any
mistakes.
They signed Snell. They just like, we got.
That's
Blake
what I'm saying.
Freddie Freeman, got him.
Come on, man. Freddie Freeman? Come on, dude.
Kyle Tucker playing high grad.
Come on, man.
He's the #1 free agent in the offseason. You know who his #1 fit is? The Los Angeles Dodgers. Like, he'd be a great fit for the Dodgers. What do you mean he's a great fit for the Dodgers? Those sons of bitches. But that's why I love that you brought that up, because people were acting like it was this David versus Goliath story.
Oh, come on.
And I'm just and I'm like, Toronto's payroll is the 4th most. It's not that.
To me, I think it's the Dodgers are up here and everybody else is a little bit down
here.
I
mean, $50 million is obviously a big... But I think dynasties are good for sports. Because I look at it and I go, those are the teams that you talk about forever.
Yeah.
And then when you topple them, I think that gives you the best stories in the history of sports. Right? Like, you beat those teams. Like, one of the greatest stories ever is the Giants with the helmet catch beating the undefeated Patriots, right? That upset, nobody saw that coming. Like, we all strive to be that when nobody gives you a chance, and all you have to do is be good on that one Sunday, like the Jets going back to Super Bowl III. Everybody thought the Colts were going to win, and then here you go, they end up winning that game. I mean, that to me is what really makes sports great. 2001, the Yankees lose to the Diamondbacks, right? Luis Gonzalez hits the base hit. Like, you topple that dynasty. You beat the Patriots, you beat the Spurs, you beat the Warriors, you beat Alabama. Like, that's everybody wants to be a part of that. And then you etch your name into history.
Well, I'm going to give you this. I like dynasties in every sport but baseball. Because baseball is the only uneven sport.
Yeah, because of
all the other sports are even.
Right.
Even college is a little uneven, okay, but I'm okay with that. But baseball, those lesser teams don't win, dog. And football, NFL, everybody's in the same playing field. Everybody has to spend the same amount of money. So baseball's different. The Dodgers are just greedy. They're greedy, dog. They want everything.
Hey,
they want everything. They the ice cream with everything in the ice cream.
Can't hate it,
everything.
Man.
No, don't hate them for it.
Free toppings, bro.
You know those guys in the front office. They went from famine to feast, didn't they?
Chilling.
Wow.
But they also had Andrew Friedman, who was the
That's what
GM
I'm saying,
with the Rays, and now
that's what I'm saying. Those
he's
guys
the
are
mom
like
and pop shop.
It's not the same equation now.
Running Pizza Hut.
It's not the same equation.
No, but
It's
I mean,
so easy.
But that's the thing is like they draft and develop guys too.
Yeah.
So what they do is they draft, develop guys, then they trade them
Correct.
for Mookie Betts, and they
Yep.
trade them for Max Scherzer and Trey Turner and Manny Machado.
Yep.
Like think about it, they've traded for those three guys, and they're not even on the team anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's so stupid.
Yes, they're greedy.
Got to do it.
They're greedy.
We're greedy here at the Dignitary Cafe,
For reals.
4817 Southwest Shore Boulevard. What's going on this week?
We have a what do we have going this week, Chris? Any special parties going on this week? Customer appreciation on
Saturday.
open mic, though.
Yep.
Open mic's
When's
Friday.
that? December?
Is that coming up this
November?
week?
Yeah, it's this week. It's
Oh,
boys doing it.
Yeah, open mic on Friday over
Open
here.
mic,
Yeah,
nice.
you can sing a little bit.
Nah.
You can sing a little bit.
Chris saying
Come on, get you some.
He's
Can you rap?
or-
Oh, yeah. He's our entertainer. He's almost like our MC when you should. It's quiet and Jay comes in and he's like your MC.
Nobody moves. Nobody gets there. How you doing?
Jay the MC.
It's gonna be boring tonight.
We just play for tokens.
We
by
play
the
it for fun. We play for
way. It's funsies.
Monopoly money.
Yeah, it's just for
Monopoly money.
bragging rights,
Bragging
baby.
rights.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
that's how we
stay bragging.
At Ian Beckles Show, him and Chris got a little chicanery going on.
And tomfoolery.
And tomfoolery. At Ian Beckles Show on all social media platforms. At Recher, of course. Catch us every single Wednesday here at the Dignitary Cafe. Again, 4817 South West Shore Boulevard. Right around 3:15, we'll pop on live here. Ian joins me on my show. The
We're 420 friendly.
420 friendly. They know you've been smoking for the last hour.
I
Ian joins-
feel like you're judging me, though.
Aaron Judge. That's I got to bring
There
it back
we-
again.
there we go.
Ian joins me on my podcast every Monday at 12:30. J Retro Podcast. Make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us on social media. All right, that does it for us. Everybody have a good week. Peace out.
Nano.
Nano.
Look how bad my finger looks on that.
Look at that thing.
Look